I guess I was right when I figured that they'd place you in an old paralysis cell, Fyron says. The main's only purpose was to keep the intruders out, not to keep you in. Who are you? Minotaur asks again. I'm Fyron, the general of all free goblins in Varathia, Fyron says. I've come here to recruit you to join in my army. What do you say, a goblin army? The Minotaur says. He laughs bitterly. I never thought I'd see the day, the Minotaur says, when I actually seriously considered an offer like that. It's not as bad as you might think, Fyron says. At the very least, in a goblin camp, you should have access to more food than here. You wouldn't have to spend your days locked up in a paralysis spell. Or would you rather spend the rest of your life entertaining these humans? This goblin army of yours. The Minotaur says, is it made only of goblins, or have you also recruited other warriors such as myself before it? It is made mostly of goblin, Fyron says, but our goblin camp accepts all races as long as they follow our rules and pay the yearly tribute. How much is the yearly tribute? The Minotaur asks. It depends, Fyron says. On average, it is about 1 copper piece for each goblin. Per year, the Minotaur asks, somewhat surprised. Per year, Fyron says. Why is that, and why is that you're recruiting? The Minotaur asks. Are you preparing for war? That remains to be seen, Fyron says. For the moment, let's just say I like being cautious. The Minotaur pauses for a bit to consider the goblin's word. You can negotiate the terms of your employment later if you wish, Fyron says. The last thing I would want is to force you into this by taking advantage of your current situation. Okay, all I want is your word that you will take my offer seriously and join me on my trip back to the goblin camp. I guess I know how much Minotaurs value honor, so as long as you give me your word, that is enough for me. We can discuss the details later, afterwards. You're clearly a skilled diplomat, Goblin, the Minotaur says. You have a gift of finding the exact words that someone wants to hear. You deliver them at just the right moment. Naturally, my natural hatred for diplomats would make me not think twice about refusing your offer, but in this case, as you are aware, I do not have much of a choice. He pauses again. Very well, General Fyron. The Minotaur says, I give you my word. As long as you free me from here, I'll accompany you to your goblin camp and I will take your employment offer as seriously as I'm able. That is all I wanted to hear, Fyron says with a grin. He then uses his staff to cast a spell on the panel outside the cell, which deactivates the paralysis spell and opens the gate. How are you planning to get me out of this cavern? The Minotaur says as he gets up from the ground and walks out of the cell. By using magic, Fyron says. It just so happens Illuna and I both rather adept at casting spells. We both have the ability to teleport within certain limitation. He then turns to Illuna. Illuna, Fyron says, can you teleport the Minotaur to the surface? As far as I know, your daily teleportation spell does not have a weight limit. Mine, on the other hand, costs additional energy for every extra pound. I would rather you take the Minotaur with you, since he is by far the heaviest of the group. I'll be with you shortly after I lead your friends to the secret passage I mentioned earlier. Illuna nods, and the goblin now turns towards the Minotaur. Once you're on the surface, Illuna won't be able to help you, Fyron says. Everyone in the city knows your face from the arena, so she can't be seen fighting alongside you unless she wants to get a criminal record. Don't wait for us. As soon as you're out of the cavern, make a rush towards the city gates, smash right through them, and don't stop until you reach the Magium woods. We'll meet you there. I'll be waiting, the Minotaur says. That is kind of cool. I just imagine like a really long fucking like alleyway sort of thing, like a main street but like empty, and like through these wooden stone houses, like a Minotaur is just barreling down the street. And you know what I imagine? I know what I imagine now. In Attack on Titan season 1, I believe, there's that scene where the armored titan runs towards the city wall, and they are fighting like cannons at it. That's pretty much what I imagined. But instead of going from right to left, it was like left to right. But yeah, that's kind of cool. But whatever. My imagination is all over the goddamn place today. I usually don't visualize things all that much, especially when I'm reading, unless I'm specifically reading alone. And that's a different story. Then I do visualize a lot. I'll be waiting. We should get going, Luna says, and she grabs the Minotaur's hand in order to get ready for teleportation. She gives us all one last look, stopping her gaze for a few seconds. When her eyes meet mine. Don't die, she tells me simply. I won't, I say. She then casts her teleportation spell, and both her and the Minotaur disappear from our sight. This way, Fyron says as he goes back the way we came from. He then stops by a wall. He taps it lightly 3 times with his staff, causing a hidden door to open up, to reveal a hidden passage. The tunnel will lead you back to the upper levels, Fyron says. I trust that you will be able to find your way back to yourselves from here. We'll manage, I say. Oh fuck. I just realized something. Fuck. I thought once they get rid of the Minotaur, we'll be I don't know, traveling for a little bit for some reason. I thought that. But no. The hidden passageway is right here, which means that I should have hidden the guard's body, because now the body is not hidden. And if they come around, well, it doesn't really matter actually. No, this blood smell would still be there even if I had the bodies. I mean, if they looked from a distance, right, to check if the guards are standing there, they don't see the guards, I mean, they'll probably come to check, right? So it doesn't really matter even if I didn't hide the bodies. I'm sure the novel has to say otherwise, but in my rational mind, I think it didn't really matter to hide the bodies. Maybe loot the bodies, now that's a different story. Medieval fantasy, you just fucking looting bodies half the fucking time, as far as I can remember. Maybe I'm confusing it with something else, but whatever. Why is my voice so raspy today? Okay, and we'll go now. I think I should also mention that the tunnel can only be opened from this side, for instance. Once you enter it, you won't be able to go back. The goblin then turns to Layla. As far as I know, he says Barry is required to return to his cell unless he wants to get disqualified from the tournament. You, however, are bound by no such rules. If you want, I would give you a lift. There is enough energy in my staff remaining to teleport one extra person. Wait, what? Oh right, Barry needs right, get it. Because I need to go back to my not me, sorry. Barry needs to go back to his cell. If he does not, then he will be disqualified from the tournament, not the arena match, the tournament. So he cannot just jailbreak. However, Layla could go with him, with the goblin guy, which normally would be a good thing, but I suppose we do need help eventually to fight. I guess we should have killed those animals. Now we all have to fight them. Though it doesn't really matter. Now it's probably a good thing that those guns are alive, because if they didn't have any characters or like those scorpions or whatever to fight and they straight up went in, we would probably get up straight into the third match. We would be fighting our allies, which would not be good. Anyway, as far as I know, yeah. Thank you, Layla writes, but I'm fine. I'll take the tunnel. Are you sure? The goblin asks. I promise that I won't charge you much. I'm positive, Layla writes. Very well, then Farron says he readies his staff. He signals the tiger and the troll to come near him. I wish you both luck, the goblin says. Next time we meet, I hope it'll be under better circumstances. He casts his spell. He vanishes into thin air alongside the tiger and the troll. Layla and waste no time, and we enter the sewer tunnel. The door shuts itself behind us. You have some very unique friends, Layla writes, smiling as we walk through the dark corridor. Was that supposed to mean? Actually, only one of them is my friend. Which one is my friend? Iluna? What's that supposed to mean? That sounds retarded. Actually, only one of them is my friend. Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. Luna? Layla says, yeah, I say. Maruka is more like the team's gesture than anything else. Really, I've never met that goblin until today, but I'll admit that I've never traveled with such a diverse group of individuals before I came to this tournament. Pause for a few seconds, then I changed the subject. So, why didn't you accept the goblin's offer earlier, I ask her. Is it because you didn't trust him? Oh no, it's not that, Layla writes. It's just that I never intended to break out of here. Why not? I say. Couldn't you just run past all the guards in the city now that your wounds are healed? Lita shakes her head. The Lissetti that framed my father are watching me carefully, she writes. As long as I survive the arena, the charges against me will be dropped, and they won't be able to touch me. If I escape illegally, they will use all the means of at their disposal to hunt me. I would never make it to the city gates alive. I thought the more appropriate reason was that she wanted to repay back the favor, considering she dragged us into this little cavern area. And I thought that we would just, she would like repay back that not leaving me alone here. Maybe she was doing that, but I guess I'm just being too gushy, but whatever. You're saying that you'd rather fight the creatures on the arena, I say, than have a direct confrontation with the Lissetti from the city. Yes, Layla writes. The Lissetti have powerful artifacts that allow them to use magic, similar to the staff that the Goblin General was using. At least in the arena, nobody's allowed to use magic. As long as I have my stat device, I can stand a chance. Yeah, I guess I see your point, I say. Speaking of our stat devices, I think we should pull them out to light this place up a bit. The goblins did say that there might be some traps around here, so we should watch our step. We walked down the dark tunnel for a few minutes, carefully checking every step of the way for traps or enemy ambushes. As we step into a larger area lit by the glowing blue crystal that we have seen before, we realize that all our efforts to spot hidden ambushes have been wasted, because the enemy was waiting for us here in this very room without making any effort at hiding themselves. What does that even mean? So we walked through the tunnel, entered a large area which had blue tunnels. I'm guessing everyone was standing in this room. Well, apparently we're about to get into a fight.